I have an interesting story today. It's coming from Nigeria and a medical doctor. It says, "Good day, Ryan. My name is Tobe. I'm a 32-year-old Nigerian man and a medical doctor by profession. I'm an avid viewer on your channel and I really appreciate what you're doing. I will be 1 year clean in the next 2 weeks, and my journey clean can be nothing short of miraculous. I remember several moments a year or two ago where I told myself things like, there is no use in stopping, it's impossible, I have no choice but to die an addict. I was addicted to pentozocaine injections. It began in 2010 when I was doing my internship. Now, pentozocaine is not something you hear every day in our part of the world. In Nigeria, I believe they use it much more than we do, and it is an opioid, and it has a very short half-life. So usually, and I believe it's 2 to 3 hours. If it has a short half-life, it usually is more impactful quickly, and then will dissipate from the blood just as quick. So it's usually like bam, you feel the high, and it will start to go away, especially intravenously. He says, I had a bad toothache and I asked a nurse to inject the drug to me intravenously. As a doctor, I knew its addictive potential, but I tried it anyway, probably because I was already addicted to weed and cigarettes since medical school. So I was already into the getting high lifestyle mindset. Since then, it has been downhill. Soon the buzz and euphoria I got of shooting the drug gradually disappeared, only to be replaced with only a need to use the drug just to function normally, relieve cravings and withdrawals so that I can get through my day. Now, most of us can relate to this too, because towards the end of most people's addictions, they get to a point where they're using a good amount of the drug. All right, so it's hurting you financially to pay for this drug. You're in need of money, so you start to work more. So now you're trapped. So you have, say you're working 40 plus hours a week, you're only working that amount just to pay for the drug that you're using just to function normally to go to work. You know what I mean? So it's a vicious cycle of, needing money, so you work more and you work more because you need the drug, and you need the drug just to function normally to go to work more. It's crazy, but most people fall into that area eventually. And if you do, it's tough to break that cycle because you don't want to lose your job, and you want to keep things somewhat normal while you go through withdrawals, but it's very hard to do both. Most of the time you have to cut off one of them, and it's usually the work and go take care of yourself the best that you can. Hopefully you can keep your job. He says that I wasn't even getting high anymore. I either was normal or took too much, thinking I'll get the high I'm looking for, only to feel overdosed and stupidly intoxicated. I can inject up to 15 to 20 vials of pentozocaine a day, which is a lot. I suffered from numerous abscesses and ulcers. My health was a disaster waiting to happen. I muddled on through life thinking I got a handle on things, but my life was in shambles. Financially, I always needed money. People, especially family and friends, always wondered how a doctor like me was never able to buy a car, own a house, or have any reasonable savings in the bank. Now, this is very, very easy to relate to, because just like I mentioned before, you have to work more in order to pay for your drug, and you need the drug to go to work. You also are showing family and friends that you're working so much, but you always need money. So they're wondering, where the hell is your money going? And they usually get an idea of how much you make, and they can, figure out that, all right, if he's not or she's not buying things to use the money, where's the money going? Where is it secretly being stashed, or where is it secretly or illegally being used? He says, my practice was suffering. Most of my mates who graduated with me have gone on to their specialist programs, and here I am 8 years post-med school, and I'm still trying to pass the exams I need to further my career. Excuse me. I just spilled on myself too. I was caught stealing from the private hospital I work for by my boss, and the only reason I wasn't fired is because my boss happens to be my father. Got lucky there. I even once sold an expired eye drop to a 1-month-old baby just to get money to get high. So he's explaining, what he had done and some of the things that happened to him because of using, like stealing from work, and how far he was willing to go to get the money to get the drugs, by selling the eye drops to the 1-month-old. By June 2016, thank God my dad saw the need to enroll me into a rehab program that would last for 4 months. It cost about $3,814. This is a lot of money in this part of the world. Anyways, the rehab program went fine. I went through withdrawals cold turkey, and I gradually saw my humanity return to me once more. I also saw how terrible and foolish my life was. And for once, I saw that there is no need to be afraid of normal emotions like sadness, anger, fear, and anxiety. I saw that there was no need to numb down those sensations with drugs as long as I deal with them constructively along with the help of others. The 12-step program was crucial to me, and I feel it was a way I could bring back some meaning and purpose to my life. To cut the long story short, I got out of rehab in November 2016, and I'm 11 months clean. I'm not perfect yet, but the joy I get in recovery is that every day is a new hope for self-improvement. I'm happy that I've been off all mind-altering substances, including alcohol. Actually, he mentions this twice because I read through this. I learned there is no destination in my recovery, only a journey. I recently made a decision to move back to the rehab I was admitted to work as a counselor and an in-house physician, which is really cool that you're doing that. I'm happy that I've been off all mind-altering substances, including alcohol. I still struggle with porn addiction, though, and I hope I can overcome that when I move back into the rehab as a counselor. I felt I was working too many hours, almost around the clock at my dad's hospital. I feel I need that move to get out of my isolation and help people, and at the same time figure out how to go about my life. Maybe study hard for my professional exams. All I have is gratitude. I do hope what I've shared will interest you enough to respond to in one of your videos, which it has, because it's not every day that you get somebody from Nigeria commenting on their life and sharing their personal recovery story. And it's not every day that I can share an actual medical doctor's story, because most doctors that I talk to want to stay strictly anonymous due to the fact that you're making decisions on people's lives, okay? So just like a judge who has many cases per day, if they admit that they've been under mind-altering substances, addicted to them, and held down by them financially, it could ruin their career, because the lawyers will go back to the cases they have lost from you being a judge, and they will fight the case and say, this judge wasn't under the right frame of mind, and I want my case thrown out. And usually it happens, or they retry the cases. So just like a judge, medical doctors cannot openly admit that they were using from this time to this time, because if there was a surgery that they performed and something went wrong, there can be malpractice suits and all kinds of stuff. So it's not every day that I get a doctor to share this kind of story. And obviously he didn't share his last name, and I don't know if his name's really Tobe, but still, very interesting story. If you want to share your story, you can email me at ryan@compsupport.com. In the subject line, put YouTube story, my story, and let me know if you want to use your first or last name or stay anonymous. As you can tell, it's very quiet in here. My 2 kids are at a birthday party on the boardwalk with my wife, and we live by the ocean, so the boardwalk's only about, I guess, like 20 minutes from here, 15 minutes. And I have to get as much done as I can while there's quiet, because it's very hard to get things completed, because we used to live in a very, very tiny apartment for a long time. I sacrificed a lot of things in order to provide this home for my family. And now that we're in the home, the kids have a lot more room, and they're not used to it, so they just run around the house all day, because they're used to a very small apartment, and now they have a much bigger area, and it's just running. So you just hear feet clattering on the floors, and it's fun to watch, but it's very hard to get things done because I haven't set up my office yet in this house. And it may be a while till I can afford to do that. All right, so just bear with me. There will be videos 5 days a week, like I mentioned before, and things are back to normal, but I may be changing rooms. There might be different backgrounds every day. I might be outside. I might be just all over the place till I have a set office set up, and things are back to some normalcy for me working wise. All right, so like I mentioned before, if you want to share your story, email me. And otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Thanks.